So just to talk a little bit about the groups first, and concentrating firstly on the Boulevard collection, there's a number of reasons why we think that this is a great collection of clematis. Firstly, they're good for the nursery growers. They're very uniform. We've tested them over a long period. Over 6 to 8 years we test all of our new varieties, and we test them under normal production growing facilities. So we know that there may be some individual differences, but largely they produce the same style of product within the same time. So they are a group. Secondly, we can program sequencing of crop. We know how long they take to grow. We know how long they take to flower, so they can be programmed to produce for a specific sales window. And they can be programmed in such a way as to bring on a succession of flowering if we can extend that window in that way. We also know, number 3, that they are compact and very free flowering. They will flower within the growing support. They're multiple stem. They branch very easily, and they produce multiple flowers on each stem. So they produce a large number of flowers, and this is in with the genetics, so they bring bred this way. So we achieve these results without using plant growth regulators and without using chemicals. And we also know that they're repeat flowering, which gives them a much longer shelf life. So even after these first few flowers stop flowering or finish flowering, there's more buds coming, so that they will extend the flower life with more flowering. Because they're repeat flowering, if there is any unsold product, they can be just cut back, and we know that they will reflower again in 6 to 8 weeks.
So from the garden centre's point of view, they might say, why sell the Boulevard Clematis? As we've already said, they're multi-blooming at the point of sale, spring flowering. They certainly have that impulse buy from a consumer point of view. The plants are in flower, multiple flower, and they have that wow factor, so they practically walk off the shelves on their own. Again, they have that long shelf life at the garden centre, which is a plus, and compact, so you get more on the shelf.
And of course, very importantly, they're good for the consumer, particularly because of their multi-flowering habit. If they flower longer in the garden, then that's going to be good news for the end consumer and end user. And with sometimes 10, 15 or even 20 flowers on one of these clematis in its first year, it really does produce a wonderful display in the garden. They're ideal for growing in containers, either on the patio or near the house. And they're very easy to grow as well. They can just be planted and grow away and flower from the first year. And there's no mystical art to pruning these clematis either, which can be the case in the past. They will just take being, you can just grab them and cut the whole of the top off, and you can be quite brutal with them, and they will just regrow and reflower. So there's various ideas as to whether it should be 6, 8 inches, 8 inches, or take 2/3 down. But you really can't make a mistake with these. They can be cut back and they will regrow and flower.
I just pulled together some marketing concepts for the Boulevards. As you can see, very quickly, Sarah Elizabeth there in the window box makes a really nice display. Kitty, the white one with the vegetative plant underneath. And then we have the hanging basket, Piccadilly and Chelsea also there. Display, and finally, two varieties, Parisian and Sally, in containers of different sorts.
So we can just look very briefly at the varieties that you are growing, and these are all part of the Boulevard collection. So you may have seen pictures or may have seen the plants of these before. We've got the 2 pinks at the top of Abilene and Elena. Abilene is slightly more vigorous, and Elena will stay very compact with a lot of flowers, but nice bright pinks with that yellow centre. It's quite attractive. Bernardine on the left, actually, I think is a little bit more blue than that picture, but is a very reliable plant and very free flowering. Chantilly gives the clear white to the range. Corinne has a nice, attractive pink stripe and very strong stems and strong flowers, which give it an extended flower life. And Edda is a bit more compact, but a really great dark purple.
And then the 2 reds at the top, Nubia and Rebecca. Nubia is fantastic colour. It has that red middle as well, as you can see. It's more compact than Rebecca. Rebecca with the yellow middle will grow taller. We have Tekla, a nice bright pink, almost red. Tranquility, well, that's our new one, and it's so good. Really good performer with blooms all over it. Vicky is a new one. Down there on the left, the pink one that was introduced at Chelsea last year, so that's brand new. And Volunteer, a nice compact pink variety.
So that was the Boulevard collection. Moving on, secondly, to the Regal collection. And they are different. They're not quite as compact as the Boulevards, and in some cases there may not be quite as many flowers as the Boulevards, but they are free flowering. They are still relatively compact for clematis, but their key feature is that there is something special about the flower. Either it's a double flower, or you can see some of the differences there. Let Lindsay talk about it.
Well, as you can see, the crystal fountain has the spiky middle. Diamantina with flowers, it's had off such a long period. Empress with the spiky pink middle, and Charmaine is the red one. Charmaine is not regularly double. It has single flowers, semi-double, and double flowers, often all at the same time.
So that's the Regal collection, and something different about the flower. They are still suited for growing in small containers or through small shrubs, actually, in a border. That's the Regals. Moving on to your small octopots, these are being developed for the gift market. And I think they should really be marketed in the different parts of the garden centre. They're not part of the garden plants. They're a pick-up looking good item that can just be used as a gift. They've grown in a 6-inch blue pot and on an 18-inch trellis. And they will cover the trellis with flower. They really do flower well. And there's 5 varieties in the range that you're growing at the moment. Bijou is very compact, dark purple. Suzanne is a light blue. Filigree genetically is actually a sister of Bijou, a very similar habit. And Giselle is a pink. And Samaritan Joe is a really unusual colour in that they've got the purple edges to the petals there.
Purple on the back of the petals too. And then just for your interest, this was an exhibit that Raymond put together at Chelsea in 2019, last year. As you can see, the theme was the seaside. And elegantly, the variety that you can see featured there, we'll go on to that one in a minute, Raymond designed in the shape of Guernsey. And the next one is Corinne Innerberg.